Hello, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about Captain Marvel, the latest movie in the MCU. Later on, we're going to be talking American Gods and Umbrella Academy and a lot of TV shows. But this moviedom, superhero moviedom.
Yes.
So we both saw it this weekend. Paul, what'd you think, sir?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a good movie. I had fun.
I concur. I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, it's, you know, I guess people will be trying to compare it to other MCU movies.
Yeah.
And I would put it kind of in the middle of the MCU pantheon. Yeah. It fits. It's not maybe Winter Soldier.
No.
But it's not the original Hulk movie either, or I don't know, you know.
No.
So it's
the original.
It's whatever. I guess it's not the original. You're right. The Edward Norton
the
Hulk
last
movie.
Hulk movie.
Yeah. Which is, I think, my least favorite MCU movie. I don't know. What is your least favorite MCU movie?
Yeah, it might be that one. I mean, if I had a choice between, because like bottom rung for me, the first Thor.
Okay.
So I don't like that one. Especially,
I'm okay
if
with
I had to watch it, I could watch it.
I'm also partial to Kenneth Branagh, so I was like, I gave him a little extra, fine, okay, but anyway.
I feel like that was a mistake hiring him. So this is above those movies. So not as good as I don't feel it's as good as Ragnarok.
Ragnarok has, in my opinion, better humor.
Yes, there was nice elements to Captain Marvel, but I think it could have been more ambitious.
Okay. That's maybe putting you on the
as
spot,
an example,
but, yeah.
actually,
because
one of the things I think they've done, and I think it's been successful, is finding unconventional people to be the director, to sort of have a vision about it.
Sure.
And I think that's the benefit of having Taika Waititi do it. He had an interesting take.
James
and
Gunn.
So somebody who I might want to do it, who I think has recently done something very interesting, is Natasha Lyonne. And I forget the author that's behind Russian Doll.
Oh, Russian Doll, right. You were a big fan of that.
Yeah, so that really had a lot of interesting things, and it was definitely a genre movie because the premise is, is somebody tracking a time loop. But there were definitely, a woman creator who come up with an interesting voice and definitely a comedic touch. That's the kind of thing that I'd like to see, somebody like that who could have even more. I think they should do more with it. I think
push the boundaries a little more.
Yeah.
Okay. Really fast, and we'll give a quick little synopsis here of what happens in Captain Marvel. We meet Carol Danvers 6 years after an accident that she in some ways caused, I suppose, by shooting an engine, but has left her without her memory. She has no memory of her past 6 years and earlier. She is with a Star Force. She's with Space Force. No, she's a Star Force.
And she's really not dissuaded. I don't know if they deliberately told her that she was a Kree, but she certainly it doesn't seem to be aware that she's actually Earthling. Right.
She has blue blood, so she doesn't. They'll think like, why do I have different blood than other people? Because they pumped the blood into her. So, for instance, one way she might have thought she was different. But yeah, she's with this Kree SEAL Team 6 kind of group that we see a mission right away. They're sent in to deal with the evil Skrulls, and they're trying to rescue one of their comrades from kind of behind enemy lines, basically. And so mission goes awry. She gets captured. The Skrulls extract information from her memories, which is actually, I like that scene quite a bit. The scene where so she's reliving her memories forcefully, and then they're treating it like it's like an editing bay.
Oh,
they're like, oh, back it up. All right, go forward slowly. Okay, look down. Let's look down. Look down. Focus on the thing. But that was just, anyway. It was just interesting. You have a third party viewing your memories as you rewatch them over and over again. That was a fun premise. That
it was actually, and once she breaks free, that I enjoyed that too. because there was definitely disparity between her ability and everyone else's ability. So it was, like, oh, you've boxed me in, how are we gonna fight, or whatever, I'll still fight, and eventually she breaks out of it, and so it's not like they're really that much of a threat to her, but the fact that they have her boxed in or whatever, I enjoyed that escape.
And it is true that she does, on her Star Force team, everybody's got the cool weapons.
Yeah.
I like those too. They all have that green glowing technology.
Yeah.
Swords or the glove thing. And then she's the one who's like,
Yeah.
So she's obviously different right away. And she has the training montage before she goes on the mission with Jude Law, where he's like, your emotion is getting the better of you.
Which really, I guess, I think definitely falls into the category of gaslighting her into making her feel like, oh, if you use your powers, that's not very, you lost track of your emotions if you use your energy burst.
There is an entire theme of keeping her, tamped down, suppressed,
right?
Which is a little weird in that. I assume the reason that he decided to take her along was because she'd been exposed to she's like, oh, she's a powerful being.
Yes.
So you'd almost think, like, in that situation, if you're power hungry for this incredibly powerful weapon, that you'd want it to just be the best weapon it could be.
Right.
Go kill everything.
Right.
And then, oops, it killed me too. But
yes.
But they're very cautious. I'll say that. They're surprisingly cautious about their weapon. But
yeah, I guess, because the whole point is, like, they want to get the information from her. They wanted her to remember. They don't have that little device, I guess, to go through her memory.
They don't. Apparently that's a Skrull thing.
Yeah.
All right, so the Skrulls find out through her memories that the place they need to go is Earth, planet C-53. And they do so. Theoretically, they're looking for the Tesseract, but as we find out, actually the Skrulls have a twist where they're actually not really the bad guys.
No.
They are looking for their kin and loved ones and fellow refugees to help save them.
Yes.
But at this time, for most of the movie, it seems like the Skrulls are the big baddies, and I guess that's familiar from the comics.
Sure.
That the Skrulls are like, secret invasion is a big plot line. So, we have basically Captain Marvel is now back on Earth. She is tracking down Skrulls, and obviously the local authorities are brought in to deal with that. Enter Nick Fury.
Yes.
Don't call him Nick.
Definitely
and also, he does not enjoy diagonally cut sandwiches. Like, don't diagonally cut his bread. Kind of a funny little thing. Anyway,
it is.
She's the fish out of water. You mentioned Thor. It's not exactly the same parallel, but I'm from another planet in a spacesuit, and I walk around. Where is your communicator device?
Yes.
That kind of a
Thankfully, fish out of water, but I don't feel like that happens very much, though.
She's able to say things that are at least passable enough that she's not completely bizarre to most people.
Yeah.
People think she's cosplaying or something.
Yeah.
That is actually something.
Like when she landed, a little bit of that, where it's like
she's talking to security guard.
Security guard, and all that. But I guess it's good though, considering she is a human. So even though she doesn't remember,
good point. She has memories of playing baseball.
It's good that they didn't really go too far with that.
And in fact, that brings up an interesting point, which I think is a strength of the film. At first, when I was watching, I was like, but then I thought, I'll give him credit on this. So there's points in the movie where, for instance, her old best friend, Maria Rambeau, is one person. There's a few other folks where they're introduced to the idea that, oh my God, there's secret aliens living among us, and there's this huge plot from it's a bit lot to take in. You would
Sure,
think.
yeah.
And I think if this was a movie, you know, kind of in the X-Files era or something, where that would be the point of it. It would be like, whoa! Here it's like, oh, okay, there's aliens. Got it. Okay, what do we do? Like, it was... They didn't spend a lot of time with people disbelieving.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, which I think was good because it would have just slowed the plot down and be like, oh, that's not... How is that possible?
It's great.
That's not a thing.
I think they handle it very effectively with Nick Fury, where he's like, oh, sure, yeah. And then he gets attacked by an energy beam, and then his partner dies next to him because he was trying to kill him because it wasn't really his partner.
On the table.
It was an alien that he saw. And they cut him right open so you can see exactly how much of an alien he is.
Right, so there's no doubts.
Yes.
You know, and that's good. I do feel like it would have really stumbled along if it was like everyone's doubting her and she's insane because she's saying crazy stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, one thing that isn't really focused on in it is exactly how young, and I guess we know if you've watched Peggy Carter, more of the history of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
So the fact that they're already kind of like, okay, that's our charge, is to be aware of things that are kind of weird.
I got you right. So somebody from S.H.I.E.L.D. would have no real qualms with going, oh, okay, I believe this premise.
Right, yeah, because it wasn't a young organization at that point. It had been, after the war basically, it was created. So, he's a new member from S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe he wasn't, hasn't had things that happened that was an interesting thing too when he mentioned like some of his history where he's been doing special ops and stuff like that.
They mentioned Budapest, which is also something mentioned by Black Widow. But I don't think the timelines would match up there. They seem like they'd be but whatever. But yes, you're right. He's been doing a lot of ops and. So we've got a situation then when Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury calls it in and he's like, hey, by the way, I've got that person, that alien that's been hanging out. He doesn't realize that his boss is a Skrull.
Yes.
Ben Mendelsohn does a really good job in that part.
Yes.
Skrulls / S.H.I.E.L.D. show up. So it's not all Skrulls, I assume, right? Yeah, no, it's not. Certainly not because... Coulson is there. Show up to try to arrest our heroine, and Coulson, realizing that he goes with his gut.
Yes.
And trusts that Nick Fury is not a bad guy and lets them go.
Yes.
One thought on this. So that's later on when it's brought up. Captain Marvel and I'll say Carol and Fury are talking, and she's like, "Oh, what about that Coulson guy? Yeah, well, he trusted his gut, and that's against the rules." And she's like, "Yeah, I get in trouble with that a lot." It sounded like they were setting that up. Like if I was going to be in Endgame, we know that she's in Endgame.
Yes.
Nick Fury's not there.
Right.
That she might look for Coulson. It's a familiar face. However, we know that in the movies, Coulson still hasn't been announced as he's alive, although he is certainly alive from the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. Yes. Would they go that far in Endgame and be like, oh yeah, by the way, he's been alive the whole time?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they would go. But it feels like that would be her one, like, I recognize you.
Right,
Yay.
no, I think that would have, I mean, it's one of the disappointments I feel is that how in barely any time at all that the movies reference anything that's happened in the TV shows.
Yeah. Slash Netflix.
To me, but to me that whoever is keeping that from happening needs to be fired.
Right. It would just it's a shared universe. Why not share it with the entire universe? Anyway, whatever. But it occurred to me that that would be potentially her connection to the past would be. Oh, Coulson, because he's alive, but they'd have to do a lot of talking to get through that.
Right. Well, presumably after that they should have moved her friend up.
Right. Good point. And we know that from the comics that the daughter Monica is a hero.
Right.
And she'd be about if you probably the daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter is going to be in her probably 30s or something by that point. Right. So she's probably right at that peak hero time.
I would think, yeah.
So yes, you have to evade the Skrulls. We find out that this kind of connects it back to some of the other parts of the MCU. There was a Project Pegasus. We heard about Project Pegasus in Iron Man 2, I believe, when Tony's looking through his dad's old projects.
Oh.
He's like, Project Pegasus. Give me the specs, Jervis, or whatever. So Project Pegasus was something perhaps even started by Howard Stark. We get the idea that, okay, so we know that the Tesseract was on, flown into the ocean by Captain America back in the 40s.
Right.
Howard Stark got it, decided to use it, try to create an energy source, use it as an energy source. This Project Pegasus seems like the idea was, hey, one of the ways we're going to try to use the Tesseract is for this light speed engine. They put Annette Bening on the project, not knowing she was a Kree.
I didn't know.
So she's working on it. She puts it up in her cloaked ship that's orbiting the Earth. Dies. And so then there's 6 years where this thing is floating up in space. Right. It's a little weird that people, maybe they were looking for it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But why wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. going, where the hell is that Tesseract? I mean, they knew the accident happened and thus blew up, but...
Yeah, well, then there you go.
Did they think that the Tesseract blew up?
Maybe. Not unreasonable. They don't know how powerful that thing is.
Right, and then they bring it back. So that is the spot. It's in the first Avengers movie when Loki shows up and they're testing the Tesseract.
Yes.
That's the base that gets destroyed.
Yes.
It's the base where they were testing all them. So that's kind of a cool tie-in as well. Tie-in thing. So we then we find out that, yes, in fact, the Skrulls are not the bad guys. And on that cloaked ship, Marvel, Annette Bening, had stowed various families of Skrulls to hide them.
Yes.
And I guess they've been there for 6 years. Like, there's that line where Talos's wife says, "Oh yeah, we didn't communicate because we were scared." And he's like, "You did the right thing."
Yeah, she told him not to. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Marvel did.
Boy, whew. 20 years later, maybe we should have done something. Like we shouldn't have communicated. Anyway, so they get saved. There's a big fight between the former comrades in arms of Star Force versus Captain Marvel. She has visited the Supreme Intelligence, which is this AI creation that leads the Kree.
Sure.
They have the whole thing about it. No one ever knows what people see when they go to visit. It reads your mind, basically. It gives you what you most want to see. So she's dealing with Annette Bening as Marvel. But there's a sense of, like, again, that suppression thing. Like, you're nothing. Well, I didn't say you're nothing, but basically she goes to all these memories of all the times when people told her she was nothing. And, there's the scene of her, like, as a girl constantly getting up from various falls. And it's and she triumphs and realizes.
Right, yeah, well, that's the point where it's like, all the memories they were showing her of when she fell down and when she was failing. And so the climactic part where it's like, wait a minute, I got up after those times. And
it's the fact of getting back up is what defines me, not the falling down part. And so then she kicks a lot of butt after that, fully powered.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like at least some of her Star Force team is killed off. But obviously a few of them live on. We know, like, Jimon Hansu, he is killed off in Guardians of the Galaxy by Drax years later. We know Ronan the Accuser is eventually killed off by Star-Lord. He, though, makes an interesting line, kind of a, let's retreat, but we'll be back to get the weapon, or something like that. And his second would be, you mean the Tesseract? He's like, no, the woman. So I think, dun dun dun. Now he's dead in the present.
Yes.
So do we think that somewhere in like Captain Marvel 2, do you feel like he'd have any place, or were they going to do an episode or a movie, maybe another pre-history movie where, 2 years later, but it's 1998 or something, or not?
My instinct is no. I mean, I think that'd be...
You feel like they just go back in time for the origin and are now like, we've done the origin, now we're back in present time.
I would think.
Yeah, I hear you. It sounds like there's some stories to tell because we don't know all the things she's been doing in this time period. But, yeah, maybe that's...
unless they... I think maybe if they hooked it up into something else that is supposed to be beginning at that time or something, then maybe, like there's supposed to be the Elementals coming. I don't know if I don't really know their thing, but, if they decided to have something else start back then, but, I wouldn't think so.
I hear you. Okay. We do see in a post-credit scene involves Endgame. It appears to be fairly soon after the snap. We've got we've got Captain America still got his beard. We see him later in the trailers. He's clean shaven. So at some point he's decided, I'm shaving and getting in fighting shape. Whatever. So and they're watching the death toll rise, and it's like into the billions. You're like, Lee. And they've hooked up. Somebody decided, they found the ashes of Fury, but found the little pager, and decided that's really important. He was trying to contact somebody. We should try to contact that person. So they had it running. They took it off the battery. They've been, and it stops working. They're like, reboot it, get it moving. But the reason it stopped working, I guess, is because it's been answered. Is the idea. And so suddenly without any sound or walking up or whoosh or it's just Captain Marvel standing right behind them. It's like, does she say
where's Fury?
She says where's Fury. Yeah. I was like, does she say he wears a Nick? Because he doesn't like to be called Nick.
That's right, she knows.
She knows that. And so she doesn't look any older. Her hair's a little longer, but so she's somewhat ageless, it seems like. But so she is met up with our heroes, and I assume she's going to be in there pretty close to the beginning, then, right? I mean,
I would assume
she's probably been airbrushed out of some of those trailer moments, I would think.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she's with the team early on to try to help them out.
Could be, or maybe she's the one who goes and saves Tony.
Could be. Could be.
So she might not be.
Go to outer space. Find our friend. So be it. I'll be back later on in the movie. So what are some of the, like, there were some comedic beats. Some didn't land, some did land. I enjoyed the beat where they're discussing with Talos, like trying to figure out his powers, because the Skrulls can change it. So like, so wait, can you turn into a cat? Can you turn into a filing cabinet? It's like, what? Why would I want to turn into a filing cabinet? It's a nice little. Anyway, it's a fun scene. There's a couple of fun scenes like that. The cat obviously is a big goose.
Yes.
Is a big character. He is actually a flurkin, which is a funny word to say.
Sure, flurkin.
And he devours the
Words
Tesseract.
with a K in it are funny.
Yeah. Correct. Monkey. So Goose eats the Tesseract, and then there's another end credit scene where he's horking it back up onto Fury's desk. Also, the cat is responsible for Nick's eye being ruined. It's a little odd scene. It's played for laughs almost, where it's like this guy's losing the sight in his eye, but it's like he's after all the events have happened, and he knows Goose is a flurkin because he saw Goose like open up and just eat several Kree. He holds them out as a weapon. Then he makes the mistake of like, oh, I'll put you up next to my face, and I don't know, anyway, Flurkin's had it, so he claws at it. Now, in the moment, it doesn't seem like it blinds him because he's like, "Oh, I'll be all right," and then it's Talos is like, "Oh, no, you won't." And sure enough, so I'm guessing maybe he gets infected or like some kind of bacterial thing or something, you know, and he loses his eye.
Maybe the claw has something in it that.
But he seems really, because, you know, even after he's lost his eye and he's picking out eyes in his, you know, he's still got the Flerken there with him. I mean, he wants the Flerken around because Flerken's got the Tesseract in it, but I don't know. I might be like, screw you, stupid alien that blinded me, dick. But he seems still like, oh, it's cool. But so that's when he says, you know, in the I think it was the Iron Man movies, when he goes, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Yes.
The thing he trusted was a cat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like the relationship. There's a lot of quieter moments, considering this is a big superhero movie. There are moments where we do see, you know, the road trip with Fury and Carol, that they bond a bit, and there's a bit. They go to Louisiana and they go to the homestead of her former flying partner, and they have a few quiet scenes too, where they're talking. And so I appreciated that there's a different tonal energy to this movie than to maybe some of the other all action all the time folks. I think they do take a little time to just settle in and let's meet our characters a little bit to good effect. I think that does well. A lot of fun 90s references, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on the modem to work. Although I don't know, like it worked about as fast as my current internet speed. But yes, that was fun, and obviously being in the Blockbuster, she picks up the right stuff, you know, which is military pilots being sent into outer space. It's a pretty one-to-one correlation. There's the True Lies, I think is one of the and again, I suppose just the title True Lies, it kind of works with her in some ways, that she's been lied to, but there's I don't know. Anyway, other 90s things that were interesting. She's using a landline, which it's a communication device. So anyway, yeah, it's good. It's well done.
Yeah,
I suggest it. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Any final words, sir?
No.
All right. And, you know, I mean, Endgame is just moments away practically. So it's a good setup for that. And looking forward to that. Leave your comments. Let us know. We glossed over some stuff, so feel free to comment on it below, and I will comment back. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.